This is an example from Chapter 1. What mass in kilograms of ethanol is contained in 25 liters of gasohol? Gasohol is a fuel solution with a percent composition known as 10% ethanol by mass. The density of gasohol is 0.71 grams per mil. When you have one of these questions, what you would prefer to do is to get rid of a lot of the words and just distill down the information to things that look like you can use them in a calculation. So the first thing that we're going to do is write out the density of the gasohol, a little bit different than what's given here. And so we'll write it this way. We'll write it with an expanded unit. So 0.71 grams of gasohol. And that occupies a volume of 1 mil of gasohol. And the reason why we're doing it out like this is because this becomes useful in a calculation when I can cancel units. So if I just left it as grams per mil, I may, by mistake, probably not in this question because this one's rather easy and straightforward, but in a more complicated one, and we'll form good habits now with easy ones, I might be canceling grams of gasohol, for example, with grams of ethanol, and I really can't do that. So there's my density, and I also have this composition, and my composition I'll write in an expanded form as well. So this is 10% ethanol by mass, so the units are mass, 10 grams of ethanol, and I've chosen grams as a unit because I think the scale is right here and it'll be useful. So if it's 10% ethanol by mass, that means there's 10 grams of ethanol in 100 grams of this gasohol solution. And now we're ready to go. We have to decide where to start. So they're giving you 25 liters, and so we'll start there, and we want to work our way to a mass of ethanol in kilograms. So we'll start with 25 liters, and that's 25 liters of what? 25 liters of gasohol. So what I'd like to do is to convert my volume of gasohol to a mass of gasohol, and then finally to a mass of ethanol. So I have to get rid of this unit liters as the first step. These questions practice our, or these questions are good practice for how we write units. 1,000 mils per liter. Okay, so when I multiply these together, I'm effectively canceling liters of gasohol, and I'll get mils. Now I want to convert from milliliters of gasohol, or volume in mils, to a mass, and I'll use the density information. And so I want to convert from this unit. So of course that means I want it to cancel when I multiply. So if it's on top here, I want it on the bottom here. So I want to get rid of this unit and convert to a mass of gasohol in grams. So this is why this is actually called a conversion factor, because it allows me to convert between volume and mass. And that's precisely what I'm doing here. And so I'm using the density in this way. So I'll fill in the numbers now. I know that 1 mil is 0.71 grams. And now I want to finally, or almost finally, convert grams of gasohol to a mass in grams of ethanol. And that's why this is called a conversion factor, because it allows me to convert between mass of this guy and mass of ethanol. Okay, so what are the numbers? In 100 grams, I've got 10. And so I see everything will cancel, and I will end up with an answer in grams of ethanol, but I'm actually asked for the answer in kilograms, so I'm going to keep going with this calculation, and I want to cancel grams of ethanol and end up with kilograms. And again, I'm just writing out the unit, so it's very explicit what cancels with what. 1,000 grams and 1 kilogram. Okay, so as I said in class, you know that you're on the right track because you should be able to cancel everything until what remains is what you're asked for. Grams of ethanol, and I'm left with an answer in kilograms of ethanol. Okay, so plug that through the calculator, and the calculator will return a value of 1.775 kilograms of ethanol. That is too precise for the information. I have 2 sig figs, and I have 1 sig fig in 10, and I have 2 sig fig or significant digits here. This is all multiplication, so my answer should be, or should have, the same number of significant figures as the least precise one given, and so that's 10%, which is 1. So I need to round this to 1 sig fig, or 1 significant digit. My unit stays the same, and this is my final answer. When you're doing this on a test or on an assignment, as I said, we'll put a box around it so whoever is marking it sees that right away, and everything is clear.